So another example of a charlatan. We're talking about charlatans today. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is charlatans who use people who are going through spiritual awakenings, dark nights, all that kind of stuff, vulnerable people, people in abusive situations, high functioning spectrum-y people, charlatans who try to take advantage of these people. So if you're local, this happened a long time ago. I don't know if they're still doing their witchcraft. I don't know why it keeps coming through like that. In Edina, now where I come from, I live right on the border of Minneapolis and a town called Ridgefield. And in the Twin Cities, we have the metro area. So we have two giant cities that are right next to each other, Minneapolis and St. Paul, and it has a river that separates the two cities. So it's really a big city. And then in other parts of when I've traveled around, I've noticed other cities sometimes work where you have to drive out of the city to get to a suburb, and like in between the city and the suburb is kind of like a no man's land. Yeah, that's not how the Twin Cities works. The Twin Cities, the city just keeps expanding out. And then all of a sudden you're in a suburb. And the suburb starts by a street. So for example, like Minneapolis ends here where the street is, and then Ridgefield starts. But you can't really tell the difference. And so that's how our town works. And so I live in a town called Ridgefield. And around me, there's a town called Edina. And Edina is kind of known as rich people live there. So in Ridgefield, where I live, yeah, it kind of sounds flipped. Ridgefield is more blue-collar people. Yeah, so there was this person, a charlatan, going around Edina to the Edina housewives, calling themselves a Reiki master, and they would do Reiki healing for you. Now, I do believe there are wonderful energy healers and Reiki masters and Reiki healers, but this person was not one. This one was a charlatan. And they would set their sights on their latest victim by word of mouth. And so all of these housewives were trying to be spiritual. They were trying to cleanse and all this stuff, but they were kind of in over their head. And so they started listening to this chick, and then this chick went to their friend's house, and then their friend said, go to their house. And so this is how it worked. I know this happened to somebody I know. So the Reiki person, now imagine like a masseuse or something, put her down on a table and made it very comforting, calming, and she was booked for an hour-long Reiki cleansing. And that's what she ordered from this Reiki master. Yeah. She laid down on the table and dozed off and fell asleep. The woman let her sleep for 2 additional hours, and when she woke up, the woman said, now you owe me for 3 hours worth of service. Yeah, that's a charlatan. Yeah, she should have tapped her on the shoulder and woke her up after the hour of service. And then she felt that person out. And the person who was in an uncomfortable situation was easily swindled and said, oh my God, yeah, okay, yeah. And I did all sorts of cleansing. I did all sorts of, yeah. And she paid for the additional 2 hours right there. Then that person called her up, said, you've been on my mind this whole time. I think we need to get a bit of that nasty out. I would like to do a remote cleanse over the phone right now for $175. And she did it. That's how fast these people can mind fuck you. And And she did it because she got a recommendation from another woman who she trusted. She did it because that's what all the Edina ladies are doing now. And she got full on scammed. And that's just one of them. Now imagine the charlatan going through each one of these women and fleecing them. And they don't understand, no, that's not how it's done. So that's an example. So if a leader makes you feel embarrassed, like, oh yeah, of course I owe you more money. Yeah, big red flag. It's okay to say no to somebody who calls themselves a spiritual leader, a guide. I have to tell you what to do. It's okay to say no. All right. So there's, yeah, and go with the people who make you feel like you want to say yes. The people who make you feel empowered rather than ashamed into it. The people who you want to support rather than you feel like you owe something to support. And if you ever book a massage, cleansing, anything, and you booked it for an hour and you fell asleep, they are supposed to wake you up at the end of the hour. They don't just get to let you sleep till oblivion and keep charging it up on them. No, that's somebody taking advantage of you. All right, there you go. Let's be strong, be creative, be courageous, and stand in our power. It doesn't mean we have to remember the empowerment muscle and the bitch muscle are the same muscle. And so we want to hone our empowerment muscle and keep the bitch muscle at bay. But if you're hood classy, yeah, keep it classy. But if you got to get hood, take it out every now and then.